So I hope these basic ideas are clear. Just a little more formality in terms of the same idea, how is it expressed mathematically. So when I say this is the function of x, that means nothing but y, this is equal to y, and function of x means as the value of x changes, the output or the y or fx, whatever you want to call it, changes. And what do I mean by f of 1? It means instead of x, wherever there is x in the story, put up a 1. So I put a 1 in the story, I will get a 1 minus 2, which is a minus 1, and a 1 plus 3, which is a 4 or a plus 4, and I multiply these two together, and my final output will be a minus 4. So can I say f of 1 is equal to minus 4? You can also expand this quadratic, stay with the basic multiplication, x square. I will have a minus 2x and a plus, and I'll have a minus 2x and a plus 3x. So I will get a overall x, and a minus 2 into a plus 3 will give me a minus 6. So again, with this basic practice, we're also at least getting familiar with a lot of basic level quadratic forms in case you've not been doing it on your own, right? So this is my quadratic form. Again, let me play with this because we're just building familiarity, right? That when I look at this term, it should not disturb me. I should know what it means, and then you will see solving it is common sense level, right? So f of 1, the same thing, because this is also equal to f of x only. These two things are equal to each other because they are equal to each other. So f of 1, 1 square plus 1, which is 2, 2 minus 6 will give you minus 4. So we are okay with this idea. This is just the way of writing it out. So just for practice, find out what is f of minus 5 going to be. So minus 5 square will give me a plus 25, and a minus 5 will give me a 25 minus 5, 20, and a 20 minus 6 will give me a 14, right? So we can play this game, and it is still the same story. What is the value of y for a given value of x? Input, output, day 0 level idea, right? So great, now we have learned this new notational idea as well, because the factor theorem is expressed in terms of fx, etc. So that's why the build up to this point. And factor theorem may sound complicated if you read it in the language form, but the idea is very easy. I'll first start with the abstract form, but then you will see the moment we put in numbers, you will very clearly understand what the theorem is trying to say. So the theorem says, if there is a function fx, we already have an example here, but let's say in abstract, if there is a function fx, x minus a is going to be a factor of the function fx. X minus a is a factor, right? No need to write this down. This is just for slowing the process down. X minus a is a factor of f of x if f of a is equal to 0. We already looked at this. F of something is equal to 0. That means we were thinking of the root, right? Or the solution. So get comfortable with the idea. Fx, x minus a is a factor of fx if f of a is equal to 0. And we already know that 0 equals to, that means we are thinking of the root. Again, connect from the other side. Look at this expression, and I know very quickly that if I make x is equal to 2, this whole thing will become 0. Why? 2 minus 2 will give me a 0. Whatever this is doesn't even matter. So if x is equal to 2, I know y equal to 0. So the same story from the other side. Now, we already looked at what we mean by the root, right? That 2 is the root, the output is 0. Now notice, wasn't x minus 2 a factor in the story? Because this expression is nothing but this into this. That means this expression is divisible by this, and that's why we were learning what is a factor and what is the meaning of division in the process, right? So if I just language connection, right? If this is 2, this is 0, and I already seen this, that this expression is nothing but this, and I see yes, x minus 2 is a factor of this expression or the whole expression, right? So connect the idea from both sides, learn it the formal way. Fx for any function, because right now we are looking at a small function, it becomes handy when the function becomes bigger and bigger. Fx, x minus a is going to be a factor of fx if f of a is equal to 0. In this example, f of 2 was equal to 0. Therefore, x minus 2, just following the language exactly, is a factor is equal to a factor of f of x. Right, get comfortable with the idea. So again, let me check, so let me play with this idea a little bit, right? Is x minus 3 a factor of this? One, I already know all the factors, so I know x minus 3 is not a factor. But let me check it via the factor theorem. X minus 3, x minus a is a factor of fx when f of a equal to 0, right? That means whatever is after the minus I have to put in the function. Whatever is after the minus is just plain 3 if I want to compare these two, right? So plain 3. So if I put a 3 here, I get 3 minus 2, which is 1. Please stop, pause, calculate by yourself as well, right? Because I'm not writing down everything right now. 3 minus 2 is 1 and 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 into 1 will give you a 6. That means at f equal to 3, this is not equal to 0. That means this is not a factor of this expression, which I already know anyway, right? So we are trying to understand what we have already seen, which is just input-output game. And now it is saying that for if a value of x, if the output is 0, now it is saying that for if for a given value of x, if the output is 0, you can say that x minus a is going to be a factor of it if the fa value is going to give you 0, right? So the theorem, I think the interpretation is very, very simple, but on the surface it might look complicated. But don't worry, we'll play a lot more with this. Just getting started with the idea and connecting it to our 0 idea, the root idea as well. Again, now look at this. I know x plus 3 is a factor. So staying with the theory, I already know x plus 3 is a factor, but for language, the general form, because they needed to make a theory which works in any case, so they went for x minus a. When is this a factor? When f of a is equal to 0, right? Get the idea? That means the function value is 0. When you put a in the story, a minus 2 into a plus 3, the overall expression will become 0, right? Now, so I need to compare my factor with this x minus a. So that means, can I rewrite this as x minus, because I wanted to look like this, x minus of minus 3. So now it is looking like this but talking like this. It is still x plus 3 only. But now I have compared it to the original, the theoretical form as such. That means, what is a in the story now? Minus 3 in the story. That means f of minus 3 should be equal to 0. Very exciting. Hit pause and calculate. Minus 3 square is going to give me 9. Minus 3 instead of the x will give me a minus 3 and then a minus 6. 9 minus 3 gives you a 6 and a 6 minus 6 will give you a 0. Wow. So this time I went in the other direction. I said, I already know this is a factor. Let me see if the factor theorem is working or not. And let me also learn that, okay, this is the what we call the general form and this is the reality. So I merge them together, the reality and the general form, and I say, okay, if this reality had to look like this, what would it entail? So I wrote it like this. And then concentration, a this time is equal to this value because whatever came after the minus, that should be put in the input location and the output should be 0. I did that, I got the output as 0. So that is our essential basic factor theorem. So I hope the very basics of the factor theorem are clear, but we're not done with it. This was just the introduction. We'll use it several number of times. But right now we're just connecting ideas together. We have not yet hit the practice and exploration space as such, right? So the idea being that if fx is equal to 0 for a given value of a, if f of a is equal to 0, x minus a is going to be a factor. If I find out that f of 5 is equal to 0, what can I say? X minus 5 is going to be a factor. If somebody tells me x minus 5 is a factor, so I will be able to say f of 5 is going to be 0. And what do I mean by f of 5? Wherever there is an x, put a 5 and the overall expression will become 0. And that's why that day 0, input, output, this language building, what do I mean by f of x? Then we can do a lot of stuff orally, right? So we know the basic factor theorem and it is still, where is it 0 and what do I mean by factorization? So playing with the same idea and connecting it to the remainder theorem. And what do I mean by the remainder theorem? So let's think of the division and the remainder process. Let's say this is the expression and I want to divide it by x minus 4. So the theory will say fx is being divided by x minus a, but for now let me just put a 4 here, x minus 4. So your task is to divide the function. You know this is the function. You also know this is nothing but two expressions multiplied together, factorized form, right? So a function is being divided by x minus 4. So let's first of all go for the old standard method of division. Everybody would know this from basic school data. Even if you do not know, but you do know this 17 divided by 5 kind of division is the same thing with expressions. So you will understand it in no time. So I put x minus 4, this is the divisor, this is the dividend. So I want an x square because I want to cancel things out, right? So how will I get an x square? How will I get an x square? X into x will give me an x square. Great, I know this will get cancelled. But what will happen now? Minus 4 into an x will also happen. So I will also get a minus 4x. I have to subtract, right? Subtract. So this x square will get cancelled. But this minus of 4x will become a plus of 4x. So minus 11x plus 4x will give you a minus 7x. And then this 30 will be carried over. We will not need to do this at all. We learn a shortcut, but this is just to connect what do we mean by division. The same thing, right? 5 3s are 15 and then something is left over. This is the divisor, this is the dividend, this is the quotient, this is the remainder. So the same thing, just in expressions right now. And now I want a minus 7. So you can also learn from what I am doing, right? So I want a minus 7x. I have a 7. Let me throw a minus 7. X into a minus 7 will give me a minus 7x. And a minus 4 into a minus 7 will give you a plus 28. Great so far. Now remember, from this expression you have to subtract. That means there is a minus in between. So this minus and this minus will become a plus, and you know simply this will get cancelled. Minus plus, this will become a minus, and a 30 minus 28, the remainder finally will be equal to 2. Learn this process. You can find more about this on the interweb somewhere, but we will not need this at all. This is just to introduce the idea. What do I mean? Okay, if I divide it, okay, this is how we divide it, right? But remember the form, we had x minus a and we had to connect it to f of a, right? The general form of the factor theorem. Same thing, I have a x minus 4. Let me try out what will be the value of f of 4 for this expression. So if I put f of 4, what will I get? I will get a 16. I'll put a f of 4, what will I get? A minus 44. And I have a simple plus 30 constant there. So 30 plus 16 is going to give me a 56. 56 minus 40. 30 plus 16 is going to give you a 46. 46 minus 44 is going to give you a 2. And I saw that the remainder also was 2. So, oh my god, life can be so easy. That means if you want to divide fx by x minus 4, all you had to do was put the value of 4 in the function, and whatever output you get is going to be your remainder, right? Hit pause, understand the idea, rewind the idea a couple of times maybe, that if, or even more theoretically, right? If f of x is being divided by x minus a, that's our general form, whatever is the value of f of a is going to be the remainder. Now, this is the same thing as the factor theorem because they are both saying the same thing. Remember, the factor theorem said when this is 0, that means the remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, obviously the divisor is a factor of the original number. If I take 15 and I divide it by 5 and the remainder in the story is 0, so I know 5 is a factor of 15, right? So the factor theorem said when it is 0, x minus a is a factor. Conversely, if you want to find the remainder, you just put f of a and you will get the remainder. When the remainder is 0, x minus a is going to be a factor, right? So exactly the same thing, and even at a more fundamental level, still basically about input, output, and the factorized form. By the way, the factorized form for this equation is going to be x minus 6 into x minus 5. 6 5s are 30 and a 6 plus 5 will give you 11. Everything is sorted out. So what are the factors here? X minus 6 is a factor, x minus 5 is a factor. What does that tell me now without solving also? I know f of 6 is going to give me a 0 for this expression. I know f of 5 also is going to be a 0 for this expression. So if now somebody says give me the 0 points or give me the remainder, all I know, all I have to do is either factorize it or put in some values, but it is still our input output game and our factorization, multiplication factorization game. So once the foundations are in place, the remainder theorem, factor theorem, one, they are equal to each other, they are the same thing, it's one idea only, and all it means is if for a given value of a the function is 0, x minus a is going to be a factor. If x minus a is a factor, if I can see it in the factorized form, then I know f of a is going to be 0. If I want to find the remainder of f of x divided by x minus a, I just put f of a, whatever I get is the remainder. If the remainder is 0, obviously it means this term is a factor, right?